Yeah. So couple of things that at least struck me out of this chapter, which were really interesting. I said, you know what? I think he has a point here. Uh, so let me start with the easiest one first. You start off the chapter talking about, if God is dead, is everything permissible? And you're trying to make a point there that it seems like you feel like most folks have missed with regard to that claim, right? The idea that if indeed there is, if the atheist is right and God is dead, then we will do anything, and it's permissible. In other words, you can't be good if you're an atheist, kind of thing.
And people do get that. I think there are some people who get that. But I'm always very few do. That's something that's contentious, and I think that's kind of the starting point.
The morality chapter starts off with this section on if God is dead, everything is permissible. The old,
right.
If the atheism is true, then there is no, at least the believer would say, then there is no morality, and so they will do evil, or they'll be bad guys and that kind of stuff. And you're resisting that conclusion.
Yes, in one sense. I think in one sense it's entirely true. If not everything is permissible, but that doesn't mean that if there's no God, then you ought to. Well, then you might as well murder. You might as well rape, or you should do this or that. And it's like, well, that doesn't follow. There's no ought at all.
Right. So if God doesn't exist, then I should kill people. When you're saying no, that doesn't necessarily, right? That's what you're trying to say, right?
It's like, and usually Christians will try to argue that, or say, look, since to the atheist, look, if there's no God, then you might as well just go ahead and steal. Why don't you're being inconsistent by not going around killing people. It's like they're not being inconsistent. They're being inconsistent in other ways by claiming that there's absolute good and bad and all of that. But ultimately, when it comes to how they ought to behave, there is no ought. Right. There's nothing at all.
Right. So if you look at it from their perspective, as no God. There is no ought. There is no what I should do. There's just actions, and that's it, right? There is no, and there's no value or moral value even attached to any action. And so it's not like this is what they should do if God doesn't exist. It's like there is no should if God doesn't exist. That's the kind of point you're making, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no should at all.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Right.
Now, but that ends up, that doesn't let people off the hook.
Right.
That just means, like, if you're gonna, that would be so counterintuitive to try to live that way.
Right.
To try to even believe that way. We're hardwired. So evolutionists will say that we're hardwired by evolution. Or theists would say that God's written a law in our hearts, or whatever it is. We've been designed, but we are definitely hardwired to think that value is objective, or at least moral value is objective.
Right.
If you tried to live consistently in an intellectual sense,
right,
with that, it would be a very different world.
Yeah. It just, it's totally unworkable.